What's up, gang? It's your favorite older man with all the tattoos, yogi friend, Christian. That was weird. I made that weird. It's cool. Whatever. It's Wednesday, day 1,473 of quarantine, pandemic, apocalypse. So, welcome. We're going to be doing yoga here in about 4 minutes. Just wanted to go ahead and get the live stream up. I'm going to back up and make sure I can see myself so that you can see me, which is really all that matters. It's good to be with you. If you're watching this live, my mistake. If you're watching it back, same. I mean, you still count. But you got a moment is what I'm getting at to kind of get your surroundings together, your mat rolled out, music if you like it, something soft and low key in the background, or Beastie Boys or Wu-Tang. This is your life, and there are no rules right now, so just live it any way you see fit. Light a candle, turn on your vaporizer or whatever those things are called, essential oils. But it's good to be with you, seriously. This is going to be a beginner-based practice, and it will last right around 45 minutes, and then you can move on with your life. We do this every day at 5 o'clock, and before I forget it, since it's top of mind right now, please make sure to click that like and subscribe button. You can even turn on the bell so that when Space Yoga puts out new content, you get notified. And all of this goes to help fund the nonprofit arm of the studio called Project Create Space. What that is an element of the studio that takes yoga to underserved populations and provides them with the experiential benefits of this particular practice. Things like the VA, treatment centers for addiction, the Men's Transition Center here in the city we live in. It helps with anxiety, PTSD, stress reduction, stress management. So many fantastic benefits. Like I mentioned, to a population that would ordinarily not otherwise be able to access this kind of service. So we take that to them, and your patronage of the studio, as well as following along with these videos and donating when you can with what you've got, makes all that possible. All right, so you're going to hear me do almost that same pitch because I'm about to turn on the other live social media feed. So disregard what happens in the next 47 seconds because you already heard it. What's up, Instagram Live? Hey, it's Christian, and today's Wednesday. What that means is that you are gifted with my ability to teach the yoga practices. I'm kidding, only partially. Welcome. It's almost 5 o'clock. I'm getting everything set up here in the studio over off Montesano and Central. It's not open, but I have access to it because with membership comes its privileges. Or what was it Uncle Ben said? With great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, so let's just go with either one of those. You pick. See some people joining. Wave, wave. Good to have you. We're going to get started here in just a moment. I'm getting all the technology set up. I'm going to back up, make sure that all of this gorgeousness is visible to the cameras, mostly so you can follow along with the posture sequences. But make sure you follow Space Yoga Studio on Instagram if you don't already. And yeah, let's have some fun. It's time to practice. We're going to leave it on the mat. Yes. Hey. All right. Okay. You will not need, unless, I'm going to preface this, you will not need any kind of like added elements like blocks or bolsters, unless, of course, those are things that you ordinarily use in your everyday practice or however often you practice. This is going to be a very grounded and rooted practice, beginner level accessible, and it will last around 45 minutes. There will be time in the beginning for reflection as well as at the end, not too long. And that's about it. We are getting started right now. We're going to start in a seated position. Oh, let me tilt. Hold on. Pause. Tilt that up just a little bit. This is some professionally produced stuff here. It requires every element of dedication and precision. It's good to be with you all. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, whatever it is that you call it. Happy to be with you. So I want you to just, in this seated easy pose position, crisscross applesauce is what I like to call it. That is not the official Sanskrit name, but it's my preferred description for it, because I'm 5. I just want you to begin to consider how your day went. You can close your eyes while you do so. And as you make those considerations, I want you to give yourself permission to just let it all go. Just for the short time that we will be together, just let it all go. For this time that you've elected to sit on your mat with me and all those others sharing online, just let it go for this time. You are certainly capable of picking it back up after the fact, but this is your time. Please give yourself permission to do just that. That is our intention today, collectively as a group. If you have another intention for the time with yourself, that's wonderful. I hope that the way we practice together today helps you to achieve that. Sitting up nice and tall, breathing in nice and deep. We are going to let go everything that has happened today up to this point. and move forward together. You can go ahead and open your eyes now, and on that next big breath in through the nose, we're going to raise those arms up overhead. Bringing that head through the window, bicep or ears past our biceps. Sitting up nice and tall still, and then as we exhale, floating those arms down. So we're breathing in through the nose. And exhaling verbally out of the mouth. One more time, big breath in, arms go up and over. Hold it here at the top. And then as you exhale this time, we're going to rotate and twist to the right. Bringing that right arm behind us. That left arm comes to that right knee, just to kind of anchor us in place. That twist is generated from our core. I'm not leaning into this back arm. I'm still sitting up nice and tall. I can take my gaze out over this right shoulder. Bringing those arms back up overhead and twisting. Big breath in. All of our movements are designed by our breath. And then twisting to the left this time. Hold it here for one more breath. And then untwisting and bringing those arms back up overhead one more time. Head through that window. And then floating those arms down again. As we do, we can extend those legs out in front of us. Still sitting up nice and tall. Rocking into our sit bones. We're going to hinge at the hips. All right. And just allow our hands to creep down our legs and reach for those feet. Just going through the process of beginning to warm everything up. Creating some length and some space in all the different muscular groups. Rising back up. Putting the soles of the feet together now. And pulling those in as close as you can. You can cup your hands around the blade edges of those feet. And then just allow your chest to release down. Rising back up. Send those legs out wide as they go today. And then we're just going to alternate twisting our bodies towards, like I'm taking my body and twisting it towards that right foot. And then I'm just going to reach out from that foot. Bring my chest down towards my quad. Rising back up. Shifting over to the left side now. Still hinging at the hips. Reaching out for that left foot. And releasing down. rising back up again as easily as we can. We're just going to take those legs, swing around behind us, come up under our knees, sitting back on those heels. We're going to create some space in those ankles. And while we do so, we're going to take our right ear to our right shoulder. Ease some of the tension that we carry in our necks and our shoulder areas. If you want a little bit extra here, you can take that right hand to the top of the head. I don't want you to pull down on the head there. Just let the hand operate as like a weight. Rolling that head forward, chin to chest. Now left ear to left shoulder. And finally back, opening up that throat some. You can go through those stations one more time on your own. Stopping in the middle or hanging out wherever is necessary for you. And then when you're ready, meeting you back at that neutral head position and spine. You're going to rise up into a taller kneeling position now. And you don't have to move around on the mat. I'm just getting myself situated for the camera's purposes. So we were back here, right? Now we're in this taller kneeling position. We're going to step one leg out. You choose, dealer's choice. I'm going to step out with my left leg first. And you'll see that my knee is slightly set back from that ankle joint. So there's just a minor degree of difference there. That gives me the opportunity to drop my hips down, sink forward into kind of like this low lunge with this knee still on the ground. And if this is where you're at today, you can get a pretty good stretch in here all throughout this pelvic region. But you're invited. So we're going to hinge at the hips again and bring both hands inside this lead foot, pinning the knee up against this upper arm or this tricep area. And then when we're here, we're going to engage the toes on the back leg, bring that knee up off the ground. We're in this low lunge, lizard pose. One more breath here. We're going to exit out of this by bringing this knee down gently in the back, uncurling those toes, standing back up, and then we're going to slide this knee back into space and alternate by bringing the other one out. All right, same thing, different side for balance. Lunging forward, stacking that knee over the ankle. I'm going to bring both hands inside this lead foot. You can see I have this knee pinned up against this arm. Engage this back foot up so the knee can come up off the ground. And there we go. So you want to be pushing back through that back heel. I take my gaze just out in front of my mat here. And when I do that, I keep the crown of my head in line with my spine, creating a straight line all the way back to that heel area. All right, dropping that knee down gently and curling those toes, standing back up, and then just sliding this knee back into space again. All right, we're starting to warm everything up now. So we're going to walk these hands out in front of us. So we're on all fours. Knees are hips distance apart. Arms or shoulders width apart. Hands are spread out nice and wide, right? So we get a good firm base. My gaze is down in between my thumbs. Once again, keeping that neck in line with the spine. We're just going to go through several of our cat-cows here. So the cat will end up looking like this rounded back, my chin tucked into my chest. The cow will have this swoop in my back with my head tilted back, throat open again. And so as we breathe in, we go into cow. As we breathe out, come into cat. And we'll just go through several of those on our own. So big breath in. Pushing that navel down towards the mat. Breathing out. Pulling that navel up into our spine. Breathing in. And then back out. Breathing in. And then back out again. One more of each. Breathing in. And then back out again. And then coming back to that neutral tabletop back. All right. We are going to start engaging some of those power and balance elements. So I hope you're ready. You're happy, because that's what we're doing. We're going to start out going with bear. This is one of my favorite poses to kind of get the blood flowing. What we're going to do in order to get there is curl both sets of toes. And on the next big breath in, we're going to hover the knees and the shins above the mat about 6 inches. Remember, you saw me move my hands back, right? So they're floating forward a little bit on me. You want to keep those wrists and elbows stacked beneath the shoulders so they can support us the way that they're meant to. All right, here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Big breath in. Float knees. We're pushing back through both sets of heels now. Core is engaged. And bring it down gently. Be here for just a moment. And then back up again. Big breath in. Bring it back down one more time, gently. One more moment here. And we're going to float it back up. Big breath in. General tendency here is to kind of float back like I was talking about. You notice yourself doing it, restack everything. One more breath here. And then float those knees back down. Uncurl those toes. All right. If you're not up near the top of your mat, go ahead and get up there, just to make sure that you have plenty of room to extend back. And you don't go off the mat on the carpet or wherever yours is situated. We're going to do a little bit more balance and power. Now that we're warmed up, like I said, I'm going to start with my right leg because it's facing you all right now. And then you'll see me spin around. You don't need to spin around on your mat at home, although it could be fun if that's the thing you enjoy. Go for it. I don't care. I used to break dance. I didn't need spins. All right, so we're going to go back to the toes on that right leg, pushing back through that heel. This is the same feeling as when we first engaged that leg up off the ground in that low lunge, but we're keeping that point of contact here with the left knee now. When we're ready, we're going to lift that right leg up so it's even with our back, and then extend that left arm, so the opposite arm, out long and in front of us. This is our spinal balance posture. Coming back down first with the hand, then the toes, then the knee. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Going back to the toes on that left foot, pushing back through that heel. Bring that leg up parallel with our back. And then reaching that right arm, that opposite arm out, long and in front. Now we just have 2 points of contact. Actually, it's more like 3. Count on the foot. Foot's definitely engaged. One more breath here. Coming back down with the hand first, then the toes, then the knee. Now, I'm going to shimmy around again. We're going to add a little something to that. I'm going to show you what it looks like at home first, so you know what you're working towards. All right, so we're going to go back into that posture in the same sequence. When we get there, right, when we get to here, we're going to put a slight bend in the knee and the elbow, reach back for that foot, and it puts us into like a half a bow. If that's not accessible for you today, completely understandable. Just stay here. Right? You can practice on this again. And that'll give you something to work towards. All right. So going back to the toes on that right leg, pushing back through the heel. Leg comes up. Opposite arm goes out. Core is engaged here. We're going to bend and reach back. And our gaze goes out over that left shoulder. Releasing gently back into posture, and then back down in sequence. All right, same thing, different side. Be a child's pose break right after this sequence. So those of y'all who are starting to get warmed up, there's a little moment coming for you. Going back to the toes on that left side or the opposite side you started from. Remembering to breathe. Leg goes up. Opposite arm goes out long in front. Slight bend and reach back. Releasing gently back into posture. Hand comes down first, then toes, then knees. You can put those big toes together. Send these knees out wide. Walk your hands forward. Let your chest release towards the mat for our first child's pose of the practice. Bringing those hands back to plank so you can support your weight. Walking those knees back underneath you. Curling both sets of toes again. We're going to push our hips up towards the ceiling for our first down dog of the practice. Now that we're here, we can alternate, dropping those heels towards the mat. Stretching out the backs of those legs. When you're ready, walking those feet up to meet those hands. Staying here, forward fold for just a moment. Kind of ragdoll here. We've been seated down on the ground on our knees most of the practice. It's our first time standing, so we're just going to continue to kind of give some attention to the lower back and backs of the legs. Coming up to halfway lift, so hands to knees. Got this tabletop back here. The gaze is down right in front of my feet. Big breath in here. Finally rising up overhead, bringing those arms up and over again, just like we did in the beginning when we were seated. Bringing that head through the windows, your ears are next to your biceps. It's almost like a chin to chest. Releasing those arms down. And as they come down, bringing them behind us and pinning them to the small of the back. So you can reach for opposite forearms or wrists. And you can see here, by what I mean in terms of pinning them to the back. Now I want you to push your chest up and out and pull those shoulders back and down. You get a slight tilt in the head going backwards. Just trying to create some space up top here. Letting go, just kind of shaking those arms out. It feels good. All right, let me make sure. Yep, still see me over here. Yeah, looks better. All right, so you're still with me. Fantastic. Here we go. Technology, man, is what it is. Okay, so while we're up here, we have about 15 minutes left in our practice. We're going to go through several sun salutation sequences just so you know what's coming, what to expect. In the midst of doing those, we're going to incorporate a little bit of chair work as well as some warrior work. Kind of like a buffet of yoga, all wrapped into one burrito. That's brought to you by my dreams of nacho namas. You're welcome for that, free plug. All right, so we're going to start in a mountain. If you're new to the practice of yoga, mountain is essentially us just standing here, like as if we were in queue. Feet are hips distance apart. We are in the four corners of our feet, meaning that we are in our most stable base. One of the best and easiest ways to find that is just to lift your toes up off the ground. As you do so, Your feet and your body will make all the adjustments necessary to bring you into balance. And when you can feel the outline of the sole of your foot, you can drop your toes. You're on your four corners. That is how we will start every sun salutation. Back up here near the top of my mat, about one pace off from it, so that as I extend long and back, I remain on it. I realize it's black and it's hard to see, but trust me, that's what we're doing. And once again, our breath will guide all of our movements. So we'll breathe in, and as we breathe out, we'll move. We'll breathe in, and as we breathe out, we'll move. So bring those hands to heart center, here in mountain. Big breath into the nose. Exhaling and bending at the hips, coming to halfway lift. Releasing the hands and the head down towards the mat for forward fold. Planting those hands and stepping back long into plank. Releasing down slow, elbows raising ribs. Uncurling those toes. Pushing up to find our back bend today. Releasing back down. Curling the toes again for a big push up to down dog. Walking those feet up to meet those hands. For forward fold. Coming up to halfway lift once more. And then rising up tall, arms rising up with us. Bringing those hands down through heart center. And we're going to sit back for chair as if we were actually sitting down in an imaginary chair behind us. Engaging our core here. Remembering to breathe. Rising back up. And then stepping back with this right leg. Front foot stays tracking forward. Back foot is now tracking towards the wall in front of us. That knee is offset again, like in the beginning with that low lunge. We're going to lunge forward. That knee is now over the top of the ankle. We are weighting the blade edge of our back foot. Arms come up in either direction. Straightening this front knee. Arms come up overhead. Big breath in. And as we exhale, sinking back down again. Taking this back arm and pinning it behind the small of the back like we did earlier. Flipping that front palm over. Raising it up overhead. You're just slight bend in the back here. Big breath in. Back to warrior two arms. Still have that time under tension. Front forearm to front thigh. That back arm comes up and over and out in front. Big side body stretch. Back to warrior two. And then we just step out. Back into our mountain pose. Big breath in. As we exhale, halfway lift. Forward fold. Plant those hands, step all the way back to plank. Pushing back through both sets of heels. Slow release down through chaturanga. Find your back bend today. Oh. Sorry, Instagram. Apologies. Back bend. Releasing back down, curling those toes, pushing back up to down dog. Walking those feet forward to meet those hands. Forward fold. I'm going to switch sides, you don't have to. Halfway lift. Rising all the way up, arms coming up with us. Big stretch overhead. Hands down through heart center. We're going to sit that posterior chain back and down for chair once more. Rising back up. Then stepping back with that opposite leg that you began with. About 3 paces here. Remember, feet are tracking in 2 different directions. You're going to sink that leg for that forward lunge, that high forward lunge, that warrior two lunge. Arms go out in either direction, gaze is out across that front hand. Straighten this front knee up. Arms come up and over, big breath in. Sink it again. Pin that back arm behind the back. Flip that front palm over. Rising up and over your head. Gaze is going with that hand. Coming back to warrior two. Front forearm to front thigh. Back arm comes up, over, and then out in front. Back to warrior two. And then we just step out again. While we're here in mountain once more, we can take a quick pause. Couple of big breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Same as when we're on the ground. This is just like taking a child's pose. It's intentional. We recognize that our body's been doing the work that we've asked it to do. Okay. We have just a couple more minutes. There's no natural transition to what we're about to do, so just as easily as you can, make your way back to seated. But we're not going back into easy pose. So I'll say situated this way for the camera. Having the soles of those feet out on the ground in front of you. Still sitting up nice and tall and straight in the back. You can have your hands out in front, across the knees, or back behind the thighs. We're going to do a couple of high and low boats. Finish off with some back stretches again, same way we started, and then we'll be done. All right, so what we're going to do is start by rocking back into these sit bones, right? And as I do that, and you can watch real quick, I'll demonstrate for you at home if you've never done this before. So we'll just rock back enough so those feet become weightless. And now I'm balanced right here in my sit bones. You can keep those hands to the backs of the thighs if that makes you feel comfortable and provide you with a little more stability. Or you can let go, bring those hands out, palms up, and this is high boat, right? I'm completely engaged in my core, right? And so this is more that balance and power, kind of like the reverse of bear. You're welcome. Look what I just did there. All right, so that's high boat. Now definitely watch what I'm about to do before we go into the sequence together. So we'll be here, and then when we go to low boat, we'll extend down into this hollow body posture. Feet are off the ground, shoulders are off the ground, and then we come back up into high boat. How many times are we going to do that, Christian? That's a good question. 3. 3 is the answer you're looking for. So up and down 3 times. Let's get going, gang. All right, so hands behind thighs, just underneath knees. We're going to begin to rock back till those feet become weightless. Calves are parallel with the mat now. You can keep a hold of these legs, meet yourself where you're at today, or you can bring those arms out wide, and here we go. So we're in high boat, low boat. High boat, low boat. High boat, that's 3, keep your track. Low boat, and back up. One more breath here. And back down. All right. Good job, Barry. As easily as you can. Then you can even rock back. You want to have a little fun? We're just going to go to our backs, keeping the soles of the feet on the floor out in front of us. Taking that right ankle, crossing it over that left knee. And what I want you to do, you don't have to move around, but if you're watching your laptop or your TV or your phone, whatever you're doing, I'm going to demonstrate real quick by turning around this way. So when we come down, we're going to bring our weight over to our left side until that right foot comes to rest on the ground. Arms will be spread out wide. Okay? Straight out in either direction. And you can take your gaze out over that right arm now that the weight of your lower body is falling down to the left side. Bringing those legs back up. We're going to swap out the feet. So now Left ankle is over right knee. We're going to fall down to that right side, so that left foot is on the floor. We're going to take our gaze out over our left arm this time. Bringing those legs back up. Both soles of the feet on the floor. We're going to bring our knees into our body, so just hugging them in nice and tight. You do a little bit of right to left rocking here. Get a little play from the ground on the lower back that way. Feels good. You can even put the soles of the feet together here and reach and grab for the blade edges of those feet. Pulling them in once more, just like we did when we first began. One more time, hands to knees. Last little hug. And then use this position to rock yourself back up to seated. We're going to come back into that crisscross applesauce. Sitting up nice and tall. Big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Bring those hands to heart center, chin to chest. Thank you for choosing to practice with me today. Thank you for trusting me to lead you. More than anything, thank you for choosing yourself. You are worthy. You are deserving. You are enough. The light within me sees, honors, and respects the light within you. Namaste. All right, gang. Thank y'all for joining. I'll be here every Wednesday for the foreseeable future until all of this changes and we regain some sense of normalcy. But it's a pleasure always. Thank you for supporting the studio and all of its fantastic teachers. This online offering will continue to be online every day at 5. And that's it. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Go love on your people. Go love on your tribe. Go love on yourself. Thank you.